All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Bonner Springs Planning Commission regular meeting for June 17th, 2025. I call the regular meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Would you please take roll?
Here.
Mr. Clark.
Here.
Mr. Parika.
Here.
Mr. Mesmer.
Here.
Mr. Zeps.
Still here.
Mr. Bombardier.
Here.
And Mr. Gebauer.
Here.
Let the record show Mr. Cruz is absent. He did reach out to me earlier today and said he was out of town, so he would not be able to make it.
All right. Agenda item number 2 is the consent agenda. On the consent agenda is the approval of the minutes of the May 20th, 2025 meeting. Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes, and are there any comments or corrections? Seeing none, I will call for a motion.
I move the second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Agenda item number 3 is item number 3 is unfinished business, none at this time. Number 4 is the replat RP 0225. We could have the staff report, please.
Yes, sure can. Go to the page. This property in question is currently zoned as general residential and divided in multiple lots back in 1915 that were never developed. The current area included in the recorded final plat is vacant. The proposed replat will re-subdivide the property into 4 lots, allowing for the construction of 3 single-family dwellings. The proposed replat will take the existing 5 lots and reduce them to 3. Yes. This would include 2 standard lots meeting the minimum lot requirement. I'm sorry. Hang on. Sorry, that's incorrect. So that earlier we had the hearing for the special exception. So 2 of the lots will fall under that category of the width to depth ratio exceedance. And then the 3rd lot will be a large, it's almost 4.5 acres on the north end of it. Stormwater detention and retention will be handled by the existing system within the Grandview subdivision, and the proposed development will not change any lots outside of the proposed replat area. Included in your packets is the original plat from 1915, along with what is proposed today. 1915, they were, it's turned the wrong way, but north would be to the left, my left, and then south, Morse, there's Morse actually right down there. So this was the existing plat from 1915, showed 10 lots in there. Some of those have been split and developed since then, but the majority of where this, all of the area where this new plat is not developed. So you can see this is the proposed area, and then this is the replat. So there's a 3 acre lot, sorry, almost 4. And then 2 of the lots that we granted the special exception to earlier. And then this lot is actually given back to the Jarrett family. They owned the property initially, and the applicant agreed to deed them back or sell them back an acre, however that worked. I'm not privy to that, and it was not in my intentions. But anyways, they will have this lot back to the Jarrett family. He's looking to develop these 2 lots at single family, and the same with this one. That's the plat. There is some existing right-of-way and things along there that we've actually discussed really vacating because it doesn't provide anything for the city. The street network does not go into this area. He will gain access from this far northern section to get into the 4 acres. Other than that, though, reviews have been conducted by the unified government staff as well as city engineer and city staff. I think all the comments have been addressed, and it's ready to proceed forward. Easements were put in place for utilities. Applicant will have to run some sewer line up to feed those lots. The Grandview subdivision is all on grinder pumps and on a low pressure system, so he will have to install that up to those lots and tie that into the system. We've had those discussions. I've been working with the applicant now for probably, I don't know, it feels like 6 months, but we had some things to take care of and some things to figure out as he moved forward. So we're to that point now for him to move forward. Applicant is here if anyone has any questions. That's all I have.
At this time, are there any questions for staff? All right. Are there any comments from the applicant? If you would approach the microphone and state your name and address.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Crystal Voth, 14500 Parallel Avenue, Baser, Kansas, Atlas Land Consulting. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Demers. Thank you again for approving the special exception earlier. Mr. Lee has laid this out all perfectly. He's answered all of the questions, so we just appreciate your consideration. If you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer them, but I think Mr. Lee pretty well took care of it.
This time, are there any questions for the applicant?
Thank you.
So at this time, need a motion?
I move we vote to approve as written with staff recommendations.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. This time, is there any discussion amongst the commission? Okay. Then I'll call for a vote, please.
Mr. Zepps,
Yes.
Mr. Bombardier,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Mesmer,
Yes.
Ms. Neff, Mr. Parika,
Yes.
Mr. Gebauer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right.
7-0.
It will proceed to the July 14th city council meeting for resolution. Now we're on to agenda item number 5, the review and revision to the 2025 and beyond comprehensive plan. We can now take a moment and Paul can celebrate.
Ready? Okay. We talked about this last month. I gave you guys just a one-pager that had all the pages that were going to be changed. This month, I bring you the actual pages along with the new maps and things. These will be revisions to the comprehensive plan. Staff has been working over the past year gathering information to provide updates to several sections of our comprehensive plan. Those updates have been added into the document and are presented for review and discussion at this evening's meeting. And in order to meet specific deadlines, staff sent a public hearing notice out for publication. This will allow the updates to the plan to proceed at the regularly scheduled meeting in July. I'll just kind of go through them. I'm not going to read everything.
I wasn't here
but-
last time. Is there anything earth-shattering, or is it mostly admin updates? I see demographics charts, tables, stuff like that.
Right, everything like that kind of needed updated and changed. So it's been almost 2 years since the last one. We got new tax information and things like that. So the first page, we adopted an addendum. The downtown master plan was added in. A little bit of the history changed just because of the population numbers. The charts are all new that reference, they actually reference the demographic chart in the back.
The Parks and Rec section as well.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big update.
So there was some changes to that. We had to change all of the zoning nomenclature to match up with the UDO, so all of that needed changed. Added in a little blurb about public transportation and how we should anticipate or try and gain a transportation hub within the city, at least one. The community facilities, the Parks and Rec was completely updated. Made a few minor changes in there, got all that information. So I reached out to all the department heads, and they all provided me with the information that I needed to make these updates. Education, though, it is highlighted still. I haven't heard back from them. I reached out to them a couple times and have not heard back in regards to that. So honestly, it was just going to stay the way it
Who
was.
who have you been reaching out to?
I'd have to look. It was the individual that got me the information the first time, and now I can't remember.
Are they like
what
part of
their
the
name
school?
is.
Are they part of the school, or
Yes, yes, it's part of the admin staff at
Okay.
at the school district headquarters.
if need be, my neighbor's on the school board, so I can just,
I can try and get a couple more, but they were my initial contact, so I just kept trying to get
Yeah.
with them, but I know
But I
how
can at
things
least
go.
poke
They-
her and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will attempt to see if they can get updates provided in that. The library provided me some updates. Stormwater, wastewater, all that kind of remained the same. Fire protection changed. You'll see in the environmental management section, some of them are crossed out because they have actually been captured in our Unified Development Ordinance, so they can kind of go away. Some of them were just changing from implement to maintain the current type practices that we're doing. Some of these things were obviously from back in 2008, 2000, yeah, when it was first adopted. Some of them have not been met, so that's, as we move into the budget cycle, I'm gonna kind of use this as my guiding document and talking to some of the other department heads and things like that, to make sure that the wishes, I guess, not I guess, but to make sure the wishes of the citizens from back then are met, and they still haven't been, so working through some of that. Really, though, it was just some updates, a lot of nomenclature updates from our UDO that had to match up into here. Had to kind of, the future land uses and future land use map, it doesn't show it in red, most of it, but I had to update each one of those sections to kind of mirror what we're using today. The estate residential, for example, general residential, I mean, we kind of had those in there, but they needed to be updated. I mean, really, it was just normal updates. There's nothing new. The mapping is all the same. The entire demographics table was updated to current numbers. Our ArcGIS software kind of changed, so you'll see the maps look a little bit better. They're not just a blank sheet of white paper with lines on them, so they look a little bit better. Got some new, I have to look and see. We might be missing some sewer lines, but that's not a huge issue as far as that goes. The zoning map was updated. Transportation map stayed, I mean, everything stayed the same, they're just new maps, if that makes sense.
under infrastructure and transportation, they're both highlighted, like, action step A is highlighted under infrastructure
Yep.
on page 47, and then the same thing on 48.
Yep.
Item number, so what's left on,
So I kind of highlighted them more for myself so that I could
Okay.
reach out, and I actually talked to Tilly, and Tilly, the finance director, she wasn't really, she said that she hadn't, couldn't remember that we discussed any kind of a transportation excise tax or a road impact fee. I haven't fully researched it, but I believe the state did away with that. It used to be a transportation excise tax that you could place on platted property. And then, from what I recall from my previous employment, was that the state did away with that. So I'm still working on that one.
Okay.
To see if it can remain or if it's a no-go.
Okay.
So, I'll have that addressed before the next meeting, before it goes final, for sure. But those would be a mechanism to essentially bank money for road improvements. The ones I'm used to working with, they started out for a specific subdivision, and they kind of branched out from there. And that money just kind of went into the general fund and was used throughout the city for road repairs and road maintenance. It would be beneficial to the city to get some of that, to get a fee like that, but it also drives our permit costs up higher, which are already pretty high. So it's kind of a double-edged sword on that one. I just know that it's in there and it's been in there. So I wanted to keep it until I found out for sure. Found out there was a broken link to the K7 corridor plan. Got it fixed. That was actually brought up by a resident. Got it fixed, but yeah, I mean, I guess the main thing is there was just numbers and tables that needed update to today's statistics. I don't know how else to put it. That's really it.
so then basically at this point, we'll just go to the public hearing
Yeah,
next month?
I would, you know, you guys obviously feel free to review this and see if there's anything in there that you feel needs changed. I tried to hit everything that I could, but, yeah, feel free. But that's kind of, yeah, I'm presenting this to you guys tonight for that, and then we'll move forward next month to the public hearing.
I just want to reiterate, thank you for doing the red lines with the changes on it. That makes my life so much easier.
Yeah, I thought about that as I was going through it, and I was not tracking changes, and then I thought I should. It kind of made it real messy, but then I cleaned it up, so hopefully these are easier to see. So when you
Did
do
you have to
the
go
track
back and
changes,
compare the two documents and let it?
yeah, it shrinks down to one side, and it gives you all the comments, and you can hardly see it, so I
Yeah,
was
and
able to get rid
and
of
like
those.
a copy paste, and the next thing you know, you got 2 pages that didn't change, but.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you taking the time for that.
But no, I got all the updated table information from the demographics table came from the Census Bureau. They do what they call their 5-year estimates, and so this one is actually only 3 years old, I think, because they did the census in 2020, and right after that came out with this. So it's not a full 5 years. But really, that's all I have. I just wanted to get those in front of you guys. You know, like I said, we talked about it at the last meeting, and I wanted to make sure you had them before I move forward with it for review, and that's what we got.
Mostly dotting i's and crossing t's.
Yep, for the most part.
What, since we're kind of talking future development and everything, what's the latest and greatest on all of our big projects going on? I see they broke ground on the apartment complex.
Yeah.
What, since
So-
I got chased out of here and told I was no longer allowed to be here when you were talking about it.
Okay.
What happened?
So-
What happened?
Let me just do this if it's okay. I'm done with agenda number 5.
Okay.
You guys good with that? Okay.
Yes.
And then you want to take it to 6 and 7, and then I'll hit 7 with Paul's stuff and
Sure.
some other-
Agenda item
Okay.
number 6, open agenda, none at this time. Agenda item number 7, the Community Development Director.
That's it. Okay.
Report.
So, yeah, so, well, let's see. They've got their retaining wall built down there. They're putting in all their under slab utilities and such, so they're moving right along on that. They were doing some street work and found a break actually in a fire line that fed a building across the street, so they got to do a little bit more work on Oak Street, but they're moving right along. I expect vertical construction probably to start within a month, I would think. Compass 70, the 2 industrial buildings up there, they're going like gangbusters. One of them is the shell is done, but they've got no tenants in it yet, so they're looking to kind of wrap that one up so they can get it out for
110th
tenants.
Street?
110th and Riverview, yeah.
I was up there a couple times.
The sandstone townhomes, those things are really moving along. They're a nice product. I kind of like the way they turned out, but they're actually looking to have all their permits pulled in probably 2 months, and they're filling them up as fast as they can build them. So that project really took off and is going good. Special use permit for the quarry, it was approved. It was given 10 years. They had a total of 23 stipulations, I think. They have since purchased the property from Waste Management, put a deed restriction on that it cannot be a landfill at any point in time, so that's on the actual deed. I haven't heard anything from you in particular, or anyone else, about helicopter flights.
I actually have an update for you on that.
Yeah.
I sent you something, but I wasn't
Yeah,
sure if you saw it. So I submitted an official complaint against the helicopter unit to the Kansas City Flight Standards District Office. Yeah, that's the FSDO, and the Flight Standards District Office is the one who is the FAA's enforcement arm for any regulations, policies, and everything like that. It took them literally 2 months, but they got back to me and they just sent me a real quick letter, and it said, upon reviewing your complaint, we find there is cause for further investigation. Gave me a name of somebody. So the bottom line is they are going to conduct an official, full-on FAA investigation using everything I sent them as far as what's being done over there. And they're going to turn the regulatory thumb screws on them. And if they're okay, if they're regulatorily legal, then they're legal. If they're not, they're not. But if the land has already been sold,
Right, so
the
now
guys who
APAC.
now own the land aren't going to let them do that
Right.
anymore anyways.
And that was something that APAC had stated in the meeting, so
Yeah.
I would assume they're gonna stand by their word and tell them they can't do that anymore, so. But I did see that letter that you sent as well as a response, so. Yeah,
Or
shouldn't be.
9:45 at night, hovering a Chinook at eye level, 700 feet from my freaking house, and then leaping over my neighbor's house. Windows and blowing the doors open.
What else do we have going on? I'm trying to think. Those are really three of the big projects. Sidewalk, I guess. I don't know that, Larry's probably noticed, we put some sidewalk in along Morse. It kind of connected a dead section, ran it up so that kids could access the school better and not have to walk through the grass. We're putting sidewalk down on Second Street that would tie in, basically, I think, kind of from your area, Greg, down around the corner and to the fuel house, really, to the old mill property down there. That was kind of.
So it's gonna go straight down Nettleton? And then the curve,
It goes down Second Street.
yeah?
So it should tie into the sidewalks on Nettleton and whatever else is
Okay.
along there. And it'll take you all the way down past the school and around that corner and down by Valley Feed.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
because there's that curve,
Yep.
and there are people walking there regularly.
And
Yeah.
it's a pretty narrow and on that curve.
And kind of
there's
a little
drainage
blind. Yeah,
Bit of work, but it should be on, I think it's on the south side of Second is where they're putting it.
nice.
I think so. And then the water line project that came up, Second and Nettleton, that's all just about wrapped up.
Are they going to put something over the, okay,
Yeah, so that's their last step should be is the asphalt, the re-asphalting and filling back everything.
what about the areas that are just concrete? They're not asphalt?
I'll have to check.
Okay.
That's,
Because well, no, I mean, I'm just wondering if they're putting an asphalt cap in there or whatever,
that's
that's
a good
fine.
question. That project was through Public Works, but I don't know that answer, but that's a good
So
question.
here's another question with the construction site for the apartments. The Elm, at the bottom of Elm is just a sandy mess.
Okay,
So driving through it, limited traction coming down the hill and making the turn on Elm, or from Elm onto.
I'll check that.
Okay, I mean, I get it, it's rain and whatnot, but there's,
So what we found was they went and closed down Front Street for a little while. I don't know if anybody noticed that, at least
Oh,
the
yes.
length of it. Well, it was the water line construction, and it kind of got a little confused there, and we were yelling at the wrong individuals, and they're like, that's not us. So, like, oh, so I'll have to look and see if,
Yeah.
who caused it, but we'll definitely.
well, it's been
look at
there
that
for a
one.
little while and it's just
Yeah.
getting worse and worse as time
Okay.
goes on.
Okay.
See it, Dell Park on the news lately, they're.
No, so we haven't really, it's been 2 months, I think, since we went to council with the last development agreement and sent it back to them, and we haven't heard anything. So, not sure where that stands. We kind of came to the point where this is all we can do for you guys, and if you can't take that, then we can't help. I mean, they wanted lots of tax incentives and things like that, but we can only go so far. So that kind of, yeah, I haven't heard anything. It's all teed up and ready for them to move forward, but I haven't heard. So I'm waiting to hear that. I guess, I don't think, so I have. Yeah, they broke ground, that's right. Yes, Sherry, you're right. They broke ground last week. 3-story, yep. 48 units, 3 stories tall. 55 and older. I'm looking to see, I don't think I have. No, I don't, okay. So, Wyandotte County and the cities within it have been working on what is called a Vision Zero Action Plan. It is the drive to curb vehicular and pedestrian fatalities. They will be at our farmers market. They're gonna have a little pop-up thing down there, taking citizen input. They'll be at the farmers market on Saturday, June 21st. I have a link in my page, but that doesn't do you guys any good. There is a dashboard, though, that they have. It's Wyandotte County Vision Zero Action Plan, and it's a crash data board. It'll take a lot of time, but we will real quick. Whoa, hey. Oh, if I can spell. This has been put out on our website as well as some, our Facebook page and stuff, Believe with Megan. But it is a Bold initiative to eliminate fatal and serious injury crashes in Kansas City, Kansas and Wyandotte County. They ask, this is just a little, well, you can see it's not that little. You can go in and you can make comments on the dashboard in regards to accidents or dangerous intersections. And you can really, these are all from citizens, really, but you can go in and you can click areas. And you can scroll around, you can add a comment. There's actually quite a bit more than the last time I looked in Bonner Springs, so I'm glad to see that. One of the issues, I guess, or one of the things that I found out as I was going, we had a safety tour and we drove all around Kansas City, Kansas and Wyandotte County, and what I found out was that they're not really looking at the state system, and that's unfortunately where most of our accidents are, is on K7 or at I-70. The only two accidents that were pinpointed as within Bonner Springs were actually the two out on Loring before you get into town. I don't know the specifics behind those. I think one was speed and one was something else, but regardless, they didn't pick up on any of the accidents that are up and down K7, which I found disappointing. So that kind of, I won't say it was a gut punch, but it was kind of, say again? That's the best, yeah. But that's, but they didn't take any of these accidents into account, which is kind of a bummer, because again, that's where most of ours happen. But since it's on the state system, they only have so much they can do. And then, in July, we'll have the public hearing for the comprehensive plan amendments. I got one other thing. Planning sustainable places. We did the downtown master plan last year. Larry was gracious enough to sit on that committee. It's up again. We're doing a walkability and connectivity plan this time. We're hopefully making that into a future parks and trails master plan, really, is what we're kind of hoping. But what I tasked our group with, it's the same firm, LJC, the Lamar Johnson Collaborative, so it's the same group that did the downtown plan that's going to work on this plan. One of my main questions or tasks of them, I guess, was how can I get from downtown to Wyandotte County Park without getting in my car? So that's what I want to know, how we can connect these certain points via trails, sidewalks, however it be. So they're going to do a sidewalk inventory throughout town. They're going to go the entire city boundary and see what they can find and how they can make these points link. I'm looking for a volunteer to sit on that committee. It's a stakeholder committee. We have meetings maybe once a month, if that. It wasn't even that frequently. So we haven't quite got a schedule together yet. Justine's getting a couple people off the road.
See, and I was going to say, there's been a lot of crossover because that, the GoDot stuff, and that was part of the, I can't remember the name of the initiative, but basically Communities for All Ages.
Yep.
And then there was the whole GoDot connection portion of that, and so it's kind of, there's a lot of synergy.
Yes. Yeah, there is. And that's the hopes. And that's why, we had a couple firms come out and they had good presentations, but from my standpoint, knowing the product that we got from LJC and knowing the background information they already had, I thought it would be really beneficial for them to just roll right into this, and they have so far. So I'll send out an email to you guys and see if anybody wants to volunteer. It's nothing crazy. I don't even think it was once a month. It was once every 2 or 3 months, if that we'd have a little meeting and they'd give us updates and things like that and provide some input and some vision and things like that. So it's just a little committee. There may be 8 of us, if that, on it. So I know Justine's looking at she mentioned their name now, but someone on the ROSA board, their name, and now I can't remember what their name was. But then she also asked about you possibly, since you're planning commission as well as on the ROSA board. So, but we'll see. I'll send out an email. I'll try and get a little bit more information from Chris from LJC, and I'll send out an email to the group. But just think about that if you want to participate in the committee. Be more than happy. So I'll send that out to you guys. But that's all I have.
Thank you, everybody, and the meeting is adjourned at, 7:06? 7 o'clock,
7
exactly.
o'clock. Yes, sir.
I can't read that clock.
got you one up there. Chris got one for you up there.